So we all know Jake Paul, right?
Yeah.
All right, so this is going to be topic number 6. Topic number 6 is going to go into cryptos, NFTs, and kind of how the big news that came about. Was it today, this morning? Let me see. So currently, there's a lot of Metaverses coming out, and essentially everyone's trying to take dominance over the market on who's going to have the most users, what's going to be the most compatible, maybe transactions are easier, faster, and the biggest one right now currently is the value of NFTs. And so NFT technology is what's driving the metaverse. And so recently, what I just read today or yesterday is that Jake Paul signed a deal with one of these metaverses. Now, this is huge because this guy's been making, waves upon waves in social media. So kind of the word that my cousin always says is like, you can't really sleep on this guy. Like, he's going to keep coming out with more and more. And with his ear to social media, he's going to be using the latest tech. And so this latest one is that they made a virtual NFT of himself in boxing gear. And I believe what it's going to be is going to be potentially the recording of him boxing as an animated NFT to then be sold later on. Now, that's just a guess, but essentially...
Oh, he fought Mayweather, you mean?
So that was actually his older brother, Logan Paul. This is
right, yeah.
This is the younger brother.
Yeah.
The younger brother, he's been making a name by challenging some of these UFC fighters. The last one was... shoot. You know what? It's so sad that I forgot his name, but he got knocked out, so it doesn't really matter. And so the biggest thing is that in this world, everybody's using their own type of cryptocurrency in order to fund these worlds. If this is going to be a world that's going to be popping up, and this isn't financial advice, this is financial advice. I'm just kidding. This is not financial advice. I would say I would look into the type of cryptocurrency that this metaverse is going to be using and built upon, and I would invest in that one. That's probably going to be the next thing I might do. The last one that I found was Mana, which was from Decentraland. That was a really, really interesting one. I got turned on to that one when it was like 8 cents, 10 cents. Started looking into it. I was just like, hey, why don't I buy land for fun? I slept on that thought for too long, and a month goes by and it's up to 50 cents. And I'm like, it's going to drop again. And it's up to 75 cents. It's going to drop again. Currently, it's sitting above $1. And I'm smacking myself because, I mean, you can only think about the returns. Like, literally, I put $20 in, and then I looked again just because I was like, let me play around with it. I look again, and I'm touching $200. I'm like, right. Is that really the return I just made right there?
It's called FOMO. Fear of missing out. Every time you make a miscalculation and don't get into a trade or see other people making money on a trade, you look back and hindsight it's 2020. You're like, oh shit, that thing was, Bitcoin was worth pennies on the dollar. They were used to give away Bitcoins for free at rallies and stuff, and there's little gifts because they were like a trinket nothing, and now there's worth $5,000 to $7,000 of Bitcoin. So but the key is not like if you didn't buy in early, the key every time you get it wrong, don't rush in and buy just because you don't want to miss out because you thought, I missed out then, so I don't want to miss out now because chances are you buy at a peak. But then again, with cryptocurrency, I don't know. The typical valuation doesn't really work with cryptocurrency.
So there's
so many of them as well.
Yeah, so this is where like the hype comes from social media. A lot of these cryptocurrencies, especially NFT-backed cryptocurrencies, they're only coming from social media. They're talking, people talk about it, people advertise it, people market it, and the value is based off of the person who's mentioning it. So I see this one increasing in value over time. It's definitely going to be an interesting one. I believe the name of it, let me see, is called Wilder World. And so I see that as one to check out.
It's going to be interesting because I've just read right now that Logan Paul created its own NFT and made 3,000 copies to sell at 1 Ethereum each, which was at $2,000 at the time. And within 30 minutes, he made $1 million.
Wait. How did he make 3,000 NFT of the same thing?
Oh,
NFT
yeah.
is
Let me tell you how
That's
NFTs work. Essentially, you're
Oh.
able to create any number of unique tokens that are deemed, and you as a creator are able to say like, okay, the rarity of this is 1 in 5, 1 in 1. For some of these that, let's say the NFL or baseball cards or things like that, who are jumping into NFTs, they're literally making just like thousands of them so that you can purchase them. And then that's why also like,
See, like I have one of the
Scarcity.
3,000 possible NFTs. Boy.
mhm.
Yeah, scarcity sells. So if you say there's
Yeah.
only 100 copies of these, they're gonna be like, well, the value's gonna go up if there's only 100.
Hey, if you wanna buy an NFT to have ownership of something,
It's a
go
new
right ahead.
art. It's the new art that's the new kid
Well,
on the
people
block.
compared
and
NFTs to
everyone's
like
gonna
trading
try
cards.
it.
Like, you know what I mean? Like baseball cards, you know what I mean? Like, it's only valuable to the collectors. So if you have an NFT of something, it's like, what's the purpose of owning a baseball card? Really isn't any besides you like it. So what's the point of owning an NFT? Because you like it, because you want that ownership of the original thing or a piece of the original thing, right? So again, it's completely valid. There are markets for these. People willing to pay for it. You know, go crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever buy an NFT, but at the same time,
Mark the word. We're gonna make a clip out of that. We're gonna make a new YouTube video where Wyatt buys his first NFT and he swallows his words. Okay.
so
It's
I guess
because
I
he's
guess you'll
gonna
have
get
like my
into
dead
VR.
body with strings, and you're like my finger like.
Once Neuralink comes out and Wyatt's just like, okay, I need new stuff for my virtual environment, he's gonna be like, do I buy that first NFT?
I don't even
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't even have social media. You think I would waste any amount of money on NFT?
What?
You want to know what?
What?
Because
Let
if
me
I
tell
spend the money on
you
the
this.
NFT and the power goes out, my NFT is gone.
What?
If
You play Minecraft. If there's an opportunity for you to make a virtual world, I best be knowing that out of the three of us, you would be the first one on there.
okay, I have the T launcher. It is free. I don't pay for Minecraft. So I'm not gonna pay for I'm not gonna put a paid thing in my free world. I'll just build it in Minecraft. Let me tell you what. Because it's just a tiny little itty piece here. My feeling is the growing dependency on technology is extremely dangerous for humankind, and the increased digitization of our money and assets and wealth and everything that we love, and the connecting of all those things onto the same networks at the same time while we're not securing the security for it, and we're not really focusing on fixing the problems we face now. Like, technology is evolving. We're talking about crypto digital currencies, but we still have tons of homeless people and entire countries and continents where people are starving to death. So, and forget about everyone outside the own country. If we just look inside the country, the number of problems that we have that we're not fixing, but then we're creating potential new problems with evolution in these technologies, to me is like, so you're going to make a society like a dystopia where, you know, only the select few people are actually able to live in it, and the rest of us are all going to have to figure out how to solve our problems on the other side. Not to mention, if all the things you have are digital and then the power goes out, there's a reason why your bug out bags, you know, in movies, and you may own one yourself, right? Don't have, you know, weapons and food and a Bitcoin wallet in it. Because when you need money, you use fiat currency and cash, something you can hold in your hand, right? Those assets are tangible, right? If everything's digitized, then technically there's no limit what can be taken, manipulated, or shut down. So that's my personal
So
belief
I will
that
sell you 1 million Bolivian dollars for 1 million of your US dollars.
that doesn't make any sense because that exchange rate is definitely incorrect. It's not a 1-to-1 exchange rate.
Yeah, but I mean, it
that's
is a
hard to-
fiat and it is cash and it is something in hand.
But there is an exchange rate.
I
So
don't-
I obviously would prefer to have certain fiat currencies over other fiat currencies because of how strong it is relative to the exchange rates in the market. But the thing, this is the thing though, even if it's a fiat currency, yes, it's still physical paper. But in my country, like, the US dollar is accepted in most countries. It's accepted and seen as a store of value that most people can convert to. But but it's still a fiat currency, still a piece of paper I can hold. Cryptocurrency, no matter which one you own, if it's digitally stored, you can have the device. I can store it and save it on a wallet that's on my phone and have my phone with me at all times. But if my phone dies, I cannot gain access. I can be $1 billion of Bitcoin on here, but if my phone is dead, I can't access it. If my phone is broken and inaccessible, it's gone. There's a story of a gentleman.
Seed
Hundred-
phrase.
He had a bunch of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency on a hard drive. And he threw his computer out. Turns out that when he calculated it back after Bitcoin's run up, he had about, I don't know, like $250 million worth. So he went into the town. He said, listen, it's in the dump. I don't know where it is, but it's there. If you, me, flip the dump, I'm going to tear it apart and find it. I will give the municipality 50% of the Bitcoin for free if you let me find it. They said no. They said it would spew toxic chemicals into the air and it would be dangerous to the community. So you just lost $250 million. No bank is going to insure that. Not to mention cryptocurrency. No bank insures it. You can't build it. If they can't produce it, how do they insure it?
So I just heard you say there's $250 million worth on a
In a dump
property
somewhere.
currently right now. That's
That's
as good as
there's
buying a
story.
field with a treasure lost in it.
You know what? You're right. And
And
while
it's a
you're
dump.
sifting through all of the garbage, Josh, you know, Josh, look, I'll find exactly where it is, and we'll do a whole segment. Josh
They know
hunts
where
for
it is. They know
250
what
million of
section.
Bitcoin.
And
No, they don't know
one
where in
has
the dump it is. They
Yeah.
just know it's in.
No, they said they
So they
have
have
it
to-
organized so that the way and where they dump these products, they know it's like the range, like the area, but like the depth and the level. And
That's even easier. We will have a whole segment where Josh goes to the dump and fishes for this hard drive, which, by the way, there's no way you know that hard drive has a Bitcoin wallet on it. And also, there's no way you know the password of the Bitcoin wallet. Because there's another story of a gentleman who had $100 million of crypto and he couldn't remember his password. He had 5 attempts and he had 4 and he had 1 left and he sat there. They did an interview and like, how do you feel? He's like, yeah, I'm not that worried. I'm like, yeah, you know, I would
you
be
are.
kind of worried.
Yeah,
It
you
means
are.
that you have 1 try left and if you don't, it's going to delete everything on the hard drive. Because remember, it's just data. You're not burning it. You just scrape the data. Oh, Bitcoin's gone.
yeah.
that.
Okay, well, I think that wraps up our episode.